The meeting of the local sorority near the campus of Colorado University was supposed to end at 6 p.m. It ran until 7:15. So Nancy Markham and Laura Connell, co-eds at the college, were late. Laura had a date, but Nancy had to be back at the dorm in less than 15 minutes, or she'd miss dinner. And of course, as luck would have it, the buses never came when you wanted them. In addition, Laura Connell wasn't feeling too well. She felt a cold coming on. She really ought to be home as soon as possible. It was then the car pulled up. The man was good-looking. It was the most natural thing in the world. A charming man offering a lift to a girl who was late, and she accepted. Laura Connell took a lift from a stranger. It was the last act she did on her. The stories that shock a nation, move them, make them laugh, begin here. Like this one. I'm Paul Stewart. The body of Laura Connell, co-ed, was found by a hunter stuffed in a deep ravine near Boulder, Colorado. The byline of the story was Gene Lowell. It was the first of a series of bylines he was to write concerning Laura Connell and the man who killed her, a man who was charming and a murderer. In our story, I portray the role of reporter Gene Lowell. They're ready. They're rolling. The presses are rolling on Deadline. Within hours of the discovery of the body of Laura Connell, Martin Rhodes, District Attorney of Denver, arrived at Boulder Police Headquarters to take charge of the case. Close on his heels came reporter Gene Lowell of the Denver Post.
Stuff can't talk, you know.
Sometimes it does.
Not this time. I don't know. Nothing. Nothing anywhere.
May I?
Sure.
Old-fashioned one, isn't it?
Yeah, like a grandmother's, maybe. It's the only thing he left.
You think it was robbery?
It's my opinion.
Well, why didn't he steal this? Couldn't he get it off her finger?
Came off easily enough.
What kind of a man beats a girl to death and then doesn't steal a wedding ring?
Well, we'll ask him when we find him. Hello. Oh, good. Good, I'll come out and get her. Well, that's the girl that was at the sorority with her.
Guess you'll have to go, Mr. Lowell.
Hey, Marty, come on.
Okay, Charlie. He's invited. Sit over there, Miss Martin. This is Gene Lowell of the Denver Post.
Hello.
That's Detective Stern. Now, I wish I could assure you that this is going to be pleasant,
Mind if I smoke?
Oh, not at all. Here, take one of these. But I'm afraid I can't. I'm going to have to ask you to tell me exactly what happened to your friend, as far as you know.
It was the last sorority meeting of the term, and it sort of ran on longer than any of us had realized. And then Laura and I both had to leave. I had a date, and Laura had to get back in order to...
It's all right.
Laura actually had a cold. I think she was running a fever. She told me she was going straight home to bed. She wasn't going to eat.
Did you walk to the corner with her?
Well, ordinarily I would have. We live in the same direction. But I think I told you I had a date that night. On the other side of town.
Well, you can't blame yourself.
But I do.
Don't. Who did Miss Connell know that owned a car?
No, Laura didn't know anybody. I mean, just the girls in the sorority. She wasn't the kind to mix very much.
Well, she did know some men.
Oh, no, she didn't. Laura said that college was a place to get an education. And there was plenty of time for that later on.
Was she the kind of girl to take a lift from a stranger?
From a stranger, never. Not if her life depend... Well, I'm sorry.
Is there anything else you can tell us? Anything at all?
No, I don't think so.
Laura Connell was a nice girl. I mean, a nice person.
Well, yes, she was.
Couldn't you be wrong? I mean, sometimes we think we know someone, but we don't.
I roomed with Laura last season. I know I'm not wrong.
All right, there's no need to detain you any further. I'm sorry I had to put you through this. And thank you very much for your cooperation.
Poor kid was scared.
She wasn't feeling well. She wanted to get home. She was late. She took a ride from a stranger, and that was that.
Yeah, sounds like it.
5,000 men in town, 6,000 at the university. Who am I looking for?
Well, as the bloodstains.
Come on, don't be naive. Burned, buried, destroyed a long time ago.
Well, as whatever he hit her with.
It's the easiest thing in the world to get rid of. Just ditch it. What have I got? What can I trace it down with? How many men have you got?
We've got 5. I can get deputies.
Yeah, sure, deputies. Just another handful. It's a needle in a haystack.
Marty, suppose we were to use 20,000 men and women out there looking. The whole town.
What's the matter with you? You asking me to turn a murder case into a Roman carnival?
Oh, it would be done right, Marty. It wouldn't be a carnival. What I'm asking you to do is to let me use the power of the press. That's all. You see, I can start a campaign with the paper. Setting up his office in a local hotel room, Gene Lowell used the pages of his paper to enlist the efforts of the community, and the community responded. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Where is it? 25 is 4. Right. Yeah, get on this right away, will you? Take it that way. Yeah. What's he look like? The limited police force was augmented by the people. Hunters put on their old clothes and got out into the woods. People took off an hour from work. Housewives, Boy Scouts. Every nook and ravine, every stream was searched. Gene Lowell directed it with care in the columns of his paper. All persons taking part in the search, he wrote, must bear in mind the perishable nature of vital evidence. All objects must be handled with extreme care. Do not fold articles of clothing. Do not try to examine them. Pick them up by one corner and drop them into a box. The police are looking for a man's blood-stained clothing, also blood-stained car seat and seat covers. The death weapon is a blunt instrument, the butt of a gun, a metal pipe, a heavy tool such as a hammer.
Blood on all 3 of the objects submitted for the examination matches the classification of the victim's blood. Now, I might say in connection with that the victim's blood and the blood found on these 3 objects is type AB.
Meaning?
Type AB is the most common of the blood types. Now, as for the scarf, there are no labels or other identifying marks on it whatsoever. But a check might be made to identify the weave.
Now, skip that. Now, that could take months, you know.
What about the seat covers?
Oh, the seat covers are mass-produced, designed to fit all models and makes of cars. But I did raise a fingerprint on the wrench. Turned out to be the gas station attendant who found it.
Well, nice try.
like we're cleaning up the countryside.
I beg your pardon. Did I give you a fright?
No, that's all right.
I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want to deliver this to anyone but you, Mr. Lowell. I found it near the ravine where, you know. I discovered it in the woods quite by accident. You see, I'm a great nature lover, and I saw this overgrown culvert, and something inside caught my eye. I was afraid it was some poor little animal trapped there, and I went over to help it. It was the colt.
Rocky Hill Inn.
No, nothing clicks. I mean, there might have been some fellow in here wearing it, but he wasn't one of my regulars, because I could tell you what they were wearing, right down to their shoelaces.
Well, maybe if you saw it on me, that
I
might...
don't think so.
Well, take a look at it. I can tell.
Hey, you know, it looks cute on you. But I'm sorry.
Well, maybe if you saw me from the back.
Doesn't look bad from the back, either. But, hey, you know, there may have been some fellow in here last week wearing just that kind of a car coat.
Was he alone?
No. I served him coffee in the car, and there was a girl with him.
Well, did you get a look at her?
Yeah, one of those real college girls. Cold fish, you know? Thin lips, you know, no mouth. You know what I mean. She sort of hung back on her corner of the seat. Boy, I wouldn't have.
Did you notice anything about her?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Do you see this? She was wearing the same kind on her right hand. The same thing, old-fashioned like mine. I noticed it when she reached over to get a coffee. I figured she probably got it from her grandmother, the same as I did mine. You know, I wondered about it at the time. I wondered whether this fellow wasn't going to put that ring on her other hand before long. I sort of envied her.
Well, why?
Well, I mean, he was no kid. He was about 30, 32. Had dark hair. You know, the kind you just love to run your fingers through. Mouth large, with full lips, square jaw, high cheekbones, broad nose, eyebrows black, well-shaped, long lashes. The height and weight of the suspect are unknown, but he's judged to be about 6 feet.
Could be me.
Hardly medicine, Peg.
There you go.
Yeah, sure could be me the way they describe this guy. Hope they catch him real quick.
Dan,
Yeah?
where's your car coat?
What coat?
Your car coat, the one Ben gave you.
Oh, I gave it away. It was too tight across the shoulders.
Who'd you give it to?
Some drunken bum who was freezing to death. You know me. I'd give the shirt off my back to anyone.
Did you give your suit away, too?
What suit?
The one you got paint over?
What's the quiz for?
I don't know, just to talk, I guess. So good having you home. You ain't been home much nights.
You know where I've been? Out working odd jobs. Make a few extra bucks to pay the doc and the medicines. We gotta get you feeling up to par again.
I ain't sick, Ben. Honest. It's only I get tired so quick, and when I get tired, I get crazy ideas. You're good. Oh, you're good for me. You're all I ever want.
Hey, I know. Let's you and me whoop it up. Huh?
Yeah.
Ice cream sundaes
Oh, can I have burnt almonds on the way?
and whipped cream.
Police laboratory examination of the coat brought out the mark of a local dry cleaning store. Such marks are unique to each dry cleaner. The mark identified it as belonging to a customer by the name of Sam Weaver. Sam Weaver was brought in.
Is he there?
You're kidding. You see a guy up there that looks like a movie star? I told you, this guy was a real doll.
Are you sure?
He isn't there. Is that all you want me for?
Yeah, for the moment.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Alex, put him on. Sam Weaver, come down here.
Well, somebody going to get around to telling me what this is all about?
Yeah. Do you own a coat like this?
Yeah, I used to. I gave it to my brother-in-law
When?
about a month ago.
That's a pretty expensive coat to give to your brother-in-law.
I had my choice. Either give him the coat or buy him a new one.
Well, who gave you the choice?
My sister. So, what makes all this your business?
Murder, that's what. What's his name?
Dan Joyce.
What did I tell you, Peg? What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you that if those cops didn't catch that guy quick, they'd be down on me? Hey, you got me all wrong. Sure. I look like the guy in the paper.
Where were you last Tuesday evening, Mr. Joyce?
He was here. He was right here with me. I had bad pains on Tuesday and I couldn't rest. Dan didn't stir from my side.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you sure it was Tuesday?
He was with me every day last week because I was sick.
Afraid I'm going to have to ask you to come down to police headquarters with me.
But I just told you he was right here.
Yes, I heard you. Come on.
Just a team. I'll be back before you know it. Huh?
Let's go.
That's him. The one on the end there. That's him.
Okay, Alex Light. I'm sorry we had to put you through this, Miss Watkins. If it's any consolation to you, your testimony is going to be crucial in order to get a conviction against him.
I hope he hangs.
What did she ever do to you?
Look, lady, I never killed nobody. You the one that says I did?
I saw you with her the night that she was killed. I saw you.
You couldn't have seen me. I was home with my wife.
I saw you at the Rocky Hill Inn. I served you coffee in the car. She was with you. I saw you.
Rockies. That's where I seen you before. Now I remember. Sure, I stop by there every once in a while for a burger. He makes good ones. I mean, you could have seen me there, but not that night. Maybe the night before, or a couple of nights later.
It was the night she was killed.
Couldn't be. Just couldn't be. I wish you'd think real hard about this. It's sort of important to me.
That kid was in the diner the night that she was killed. She was in the car with a fellow. I saw the ring on her finger. She was there.
I'm not saying she wasn't. Just saying she wasn't there with me. Oh, maybe you saw her one night and me another night and sort of just put the two of us together. Now, that could be, couldn't it?
I don't know.
Sure, it could be that way. That's the way it was.
Callahan, take him out. Miss Watkins,
I know I saw him at the diner. But now I'm beginning to wonder whether it was that night and whether he was alone.
Miss Watkins, don't let this man influence you.
Now, look, mister, I'm not going to help send an innocent man to the gallows.
I need a little bit more time to think about this.
All right, Miss Watkins. You take some time and think about it.
Can you hold him?
Well, not without her identification. We've already put a tracer on him. With any luck, we'll be able to find some minor charge we can hold him on until we can bring Miss Watkins to her senses. Or pin some other evidence on him.
His wife, she knows, but she's protecting him.
We'll never break her down. Now, here's the rundown on Dan Joyce. Let's take a look, huh? See what kind of a history our charm boy has written for himself.
How long have you been married, Mrs. Joyce?
2 years. 2 years last August.
And what did you do before that?
I was dead.
Here, Mrs. Joyce.
What's that?
Take it. Open it. Read what's inside.
You tell me what's inside.
It's a photostat of your marriage certificate and a photostat of your husband's divorce decree.
Don't you think I knew Dan was married before?
Did you know he'd been married 4 times before?
Yes, I did.
Did you know that his 4th wife only divorced him 4 months ago?
Do you think there's anything about Dan you can tell me that I don't know?
We don't know. We don't know. You know that he killed that girl with a wrench? And after he killed her, he stuffed her body in a ravine, supposing nobody would ever find it. Then he came home here as if nothing happened.
He's a wonderful man. And no one ever had a happier marriage. He loves me, and nothing anyone can say can change that.
Do you know he robbed her? He emptied her purse. There was only $2.50 in it. But he couldn't bring himself to take her ring. Probably was her grandmother's wedding band. He had too much respect for marriage.
Get out of here!
Why? You said you knew everything there was to know about this charm boy. He killed her, and he came back here and gave you some explanation, which you accepted. You going to go on living with a murderer as if nothing happened? Or are you going to do something to stop it?
I don't suppose that he ever told the truth in his whole life. The way he looked at me, the way he treated me, I didn't care. When a man's your husband and he's yours, you gotta protect him. But he isn't mine, and he never was, not for a second. I got nothing to protect. He told me it was paint on his clothes that night. And I let him think I believed him. It was blood. And I knew it. And then I read that girl's description in the paper. It was him. He burned his suit the next day. I saw him do it. And there's something wrapped in an old towel, hid in the rocks at the foot of Tallman's Hill.
You followed him out there?
I had to know, didn't I? I had to know for sure.
The trial of Dan Joyce for the murder of Laura Connell had its own special drama. Joyce stuck to his denial of the murder of the young co-ed. And as was predictable, Peg Joyce refused to testify as a witness for the state. Rather than run the risk of a hostile witness, the state's attorney decided to build his case solely on the physical evidence. This was the evidence gathered by an informed and aroused public. And on this evidence, Dan Joyce was found guilty and sentenced to serve 80 years to life. A tribute to the power of the press and to Gene Lowell, who used it wisely. His actions in this case inspired a move for a state crime bureau. The Connell case meant a great deal to Gene Lowell personally. It brought him a new assignment, roving crime editor for the Denver Post. The first such assignment in journalistic history. You saw it on Deadline.